John,
Hey, Dave.
what do you know? Another week's gone by, and we're
That's
back
right.
to it again.
That's right. Friday. Friday is here.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, welcome to all of those who are watching here. I see the numbers climbing as we're jumping on board here at 3 o'clock Eastern Time every Friday. For those of you who are joining the jump seat for the first time, it's a weekly spotlight bringing you key industry thought leaders, subject matter experts, as well as an inside look into next-gen technology and or issues within the fire service today. It's brought to you by myself, David Durstein, and my co-host in crime here, Mr. John Martins.
Hey, Dave. Thanks for that. I'm actually in a little different setup today. I'm sitting in my vehicle because we're moving this week, and it's way too loud in the house to do the jump seat without just complete interruptions nonstop. So I figured I found me a little quiet place for a little bit to do this, and from the truck.
From the truck. Well, hey, you're
Yep.
actually in a different jump seat today, which is a-okay. And
Yep.
you know, we always keep joking that we can't wait till we're past some of this corona and we can actually do this show together in person, actually
Yes.
from the jump seats of one of our trucks. So that's kind of our goal, where we're heading with things. And anyway, welcome to everybody here today. We got a great show, a lot of great information as we usually do, and we'll pack it into this 30 minutes relatively quick. But you know, there's a lot happening, John, in the fire service. What do you got shaking right now here in the last week that you want to share with?
Sure. So here in the last few days, specifically, for those who haven't heard about the exploding wildfire issue that's going on there in the Rocky Mountain region, there in the Estes Park, Loveland, Colorado area in the Rockies. I was looking at an article here, and I'm going to pull up a video, but currently, as of an hour ago, there were at least 5 people missing in the East Troublesome fire. And that fire burned 140,000 acres in 24 hours. So that sounds like a lot of numbers, but I converted that to square miles. That's over 200 square miles in 24 hours. So just an absolute decimation of that area. I'm going to actually try and play a little video here showing one of the trucks at Loveland Fire and Rescue responding to this. And the story behind this was, it looks like it's at night, but this was actually in the afternoon. So let me get that going here.
Yeah, that video is pretty impressive, John. And you know,
Yeah.
I think it's 2:38 in the afternoon as they're running up Highway 34.
Yep. So here we go. This is in the afternoon here. Just look. I mean, the sky. I've never seen that personally, and especially when I've been in the Rockies. So what an ordeal. I know today we've got several crews from my state in Kansas that are helping out and responding to go assist here. So quite an ordeal. I wish everybody the best and stay safe as always. So quite a story to just literally explode in 24 hours. And right now I think they said they've got 170,000 total burned. Still a lot going on there. So stay safe, everybody out there.
Yeah, you know, I mean, this has been a crazy year when you think about wildfires there. We've featured it quite a bit here on the show, you know, going back to mid-August with the first series of them in California. And it's just continuing on the West Coast. And, you know, in my neck of the woods, it's harvest season. So, you know, I expect we're going to see ours are more fine fuel field fires, but we usually get 1 or 2 here that become pretty impressive on our scale. But let me tell you what. It's nothing like that. It's nothing like that. So
yeah,
I agree with you. I think, you know, our hats go off to all those out there battling, just like we've said many times before, but please be safe. And we're thinking of you. We hope you guys can all join us on the jump seat when you're back at home with your families here, hopefully sooner than later. So
definitely
watching from the field and you're out there in any of those wildfires, be safe. And thanks for tuning in.
Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and get ready. So this week and this month specifically, we've talked some about fire prevention. And actually this week's a little different. We're going to be talking about Pink Heels, spreading hope and love through Wichita's Pink Heels group. The gentleman we're going to be bringing in here, go ahead and Dave, add him in. I actually had the opportunity to get to know about 10 years ago. We actually worked for the same department. He retired just before I got hired there in the Sedgwick County, Wichita, Kansas area. So Lieutenant Richard Janney retired. he now leads and builds the Pink Heels Wichita chapter. And we thought this month would be a great opportunity to bring him in and allow him to tell his story both personally and professionally. So, Richard, thank you and welcome to the jump seat. How are you today?
I'm tickled pink to be here.
Very nice. I like it. So yeah, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're at, and your background in the fire service.
Well, I retired 34 years with the Sedgwick County Fire District #1. I was a lieutenant, and it was one of those experiences, as you all know. You never think about it until about a year out, and you think, hey, wait a minute, it's almost time to retire. Where did it all go? So it was been a blast, best job I could ever have, or anyone could ever have, in my opinion.
Absolutely. So, after your career in the fire service, what inspired you to really get involved with the Pink Heels and to really build this Wichita chapter to what it is today?
Well, basically, I was just getting ready to retire when I found out that my wife, Nikki, was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so that was a decision that was part of my career change, was to become a full-time caretaker. And as I was going along, some of the guys on the department, I have an antique fire truck, and it's a 1927 Boyer, and they were all talking about spray painting it pink for breast cancer and giving me a hard time about it. And one of the guys just happened to come across, he typed up on Google pink fire trucks, and he found this organization called Pink Heels, and that's HEALS, and it was brought into it was the child of a Glendale firefighter who is now since retired. His name is Dave Graybill, and what he ended up doing was he saw a bunch of people on TV that were wearing pink T-shirts during the month of October, being breast cancer month, and his crew gave him a hard time. They told him, they said, well, I'm surprised you didn't think of that. And he said, well, I'm going to think of something. And I guess the next shift he come in with the concept of Pink Heels, and he was going to paint a fire truck pink and go around and help raise money for cancer. Being pink, he realized after a couple of his meetings that he was going to, people were asking him, well, what about all us other people that do not have breast cancer? There's ovarian cancer, there's lung cancer, there's kidney cancer. And he said, you're right. So the next shift he came back and he had changed his outlook on it to that it was going to be just about all forms of cancer. And so we heard about it. We talked to several organizations. We were after we found out what all the requirements were, we found a gentleman, Roger Brown, in Lawrence. He was a fire truck salesman for Pierce Manufacturing. And he said, hey, I know where there's a truck that's going to be up for grabs. He connected us. We wrote letters to the city of Lawrence, Kansas, home of Jayhawks. Yay, Jayhawks. And so what we ended up doing is, it was just everybody knows somebody with cancer. And what come find out that the fire chief, his wife was battling cancer, his mother had cancer, several other people on the city commission. It just started steamrolling. And next thing we know, they donated a 1987 Pierce fire truck to us. And it was, I hate to say it this way, but it was Kermit the Frog green. And so we had to find somebody to actually get it painted. We took a crew of firemen. We went up, and they were impressed that here they were this fire truck was being donated to them, to us, our organization. But the guys that I brought up there, they went around it and did a walk around, a 360. They started checking, they checked the oil, they checked the tires, they checked everything. And the fire chief actually made the comment. He says, "What's wrong? You think we'd give you a bogus truck?" And he said, "No, once we get on the road, it's our responsibility if anything happened." So, and he was impressed with that. So that's basically how we got started.
Now, is that the truck behind you now today?
Yes, it is. This is Nikki. All the fire trucks, ambulances in our organization are named after either someone that has battled cancer that was prominent in the organization, or people that were they were influenced by this person. And this just happened to be, since my wife had cancer, everyone rallied around and they decided to name the truck Nikki. She was at first reluctant to say, "No, I don't want it about me. It's about cancer." But the board of directors all voted, and as you can see right now, it's called Nikki.
Oh, that's great.
Wow. And Richard, real quick, we talked yesterday a little bit about this, but a lot of the inception of Pink Hills was around breast cancer. And from what we discussed, Nikki even was part of a pretty neat story where it's about all forms of cancer, right? And you were able to kind of expand that message. Will you tell that story real quick for us?
She was in doing her chemo treatments, and there were 3 little old ladies that walked up to her and inside the cancer center there, and they said, "Well, I'm sorry that you've got breast cancer, but you guys have parades, clothing lines, jewelry, all sorts of stuff. You get to wear pink. Everyone knows that you've got breast cancer." She said, "But I've got ovarian cancer, and my friend here has lung cancer, and there's nothing about that." And she sat there and she goes, "Well, funny that you should say that. That's why we picked this organization, and because it stands for all forms of cancer." She said she just stood up and got untangled from all her IVs and stuff and gave them all a hug and said, "We're all in this together. We're all taking the same drug." So that's part of the reason why we really like this organization. It covered all forms and not just one.
Yeah, that's a great piece of what the Pink Hills does for cancer holistically, and it's one of the things that I was reading up prior to us, getting together and meeting, that I was impressed with. And the other thing that I was really impressed with is really how broad the organization is and how well you travel. And so, one of those key pieces, I'm just kind of curious. I know Nikki's been around for a number of years now. Where all have you gone with Nikki, and where's it toured?
Well, basically, we try and stay. We're the only chapter that's in Kansas, but we've traveled clear up to Lambeau Stadium. We're the home of the Green Bay Packers. We actually got pictures of our truck in front of the stadium. We've traveled as far west as Denver and Colorado Springs. We take the truck. We used to take the truck, I should say, out to the memorial out there in Colorado Springs. We've been down to Amarillo, Texas. We've been all over the state of Kansas. We've seen cities that we had joked around at one time. This lady said, "Well, how many miles have you put on her?" Well, we jokingly said we got the truck when it had 93,000 miles on it. And when she asked the question, I jumped up in the truck, and the truck had 142,000 miles on it. And in just 2 years, that's how far we've traveled with this truck. We're real grateful that we have a truck that can go on the road and travel and spread the Pink Hills message.
Well, and just for the heart it takes, for those who don't drive fire trucks, driving a fire truck down to Texas from Kansas, or Kansas to other states, it's not like getting in your car and hitting cruise control and turning on the radio and sitting back. And it takes a little more heart, doesn't it, Rich?
Yeah.
It takes a little more heart.
As people know, especially a lot of your viewers, most of these trucks are governed. Our truck is governed at 64 miles an hour. So it gets 6 miles to the gallon when I say locally, and it gets, and the best we ever got was 9 miles to the gallon when we headed up to Denver. We're really watching it. We keep a logbook of the truck, all the locations, all the mileage and stuff. And I got to looking at it one night in the hotel room, and I said, "Wait a minute! Wow, we just set a record, 9 miles to the gallon."
Wow. So you're 10 years in, right, Richard? This is
Yes,
really the 10th year fully on board with Pink Heels.
10 years.
Wow. Congratulations.
And there's also, I don't know the exact count right now, but at last I heard there was about 39 chapters throughout the United States, and there's over 120 vehicles. Most of them are fire trucks. We have some ambulances. Some chapters have a fire truck and an ambulance. Of course, the back of the ambulance is basically used to carry T-shirts and stuff that we sell that helps fund our organization.
That is great, and I decided to throw up here at the bottom of the screen. If you're curious because you're watching from somewhere else in the country, you're not in Kansas. You can definitely reach out to pinkheels.com, right, Richard, and find the local chapter closest to you. And Richard, if I wanted to get more involved, what do I need to do? Where do I go?
Well, basically, you can go. I tell everyone, if you just get on Facebook and you just type up in the search bar and just type in Pink Heels, and then, like I said, it's HEALS. And as soon as you get there, you're going to see a list of all different chapters. We had decided to kind of change our names from Guardians of the Ribbon to Pink Heels Wichita, Pink Heels Memphis, Pink Heels Rhode Island, Pink Heels Alabama, and all these different, so people can actually then click on the area or the chapter that's closest to them.
Yeah, and I noticed, just doing a little research too, there's a whole bunch of the Pink Heels individual websites for those local chapters and Facebook pages, and I think there's a lot of stuff that people can find locally to you and for them. So great stuff actually out there. And I think there's a vast opportunity if you want to get involved and make a difference to do so.
Absolutely. Check out your local chapter for everybody out there. And it's one of those things that you never know what you mean to somebody until you have the opportunity to serve in that capacity. And I've been able to be part of a few of the events where the pink fire truck showed up, and just the emotion and the movement behind the message is amazing. And Rich, I thought there's nobody better to bring on than I knew in my book of contacts than yourself for this topic during this month. So what a neat story, seriously.
Well, in fact, now I'm just gonna my girlfriend, her daughter, and her son-in-law he's down in Alabama, Florida area, working with trying to repair homes and stuff like that. He just sent, about 20 minutes before we went on this podcast, he sent a picture of a pink fire truck that was handing out bottles of water to different, people that were displaced or workers. And he said, "Wow, I didn't know you guys were down here too." And so he just walked out. He's familiar with our truck and everything. And then he goes clear down there to help storm victims from the hurricanes. And he finds a pink fire truck.
Well, it just goes to show that you guys are doing great things all across the country with your great organization. So I thank you for being on here. Rich, before we leave, any last comments you want to show or throw out to our viewers?
Give lots of hugs. Every family has people that are affected by cancer. And don't be afraid to, from all the different people that we've met in the 10 years, the biggest thing that most people say is, you know, they don't know what to say to somebody. Just walk up and say, hey, how you doing? You know, ask them about it, especially firemen, policemen. We have a tendency to talk a little different than an average citizen. And just walk up, you know, put your arm around them and just say, hey, how's treatments going? How long have you been out? Just let them know that you care. And that it's in itself that will help out a bunch.
Fantastic.
Great words of wisdom.
Thanks so much for coming in Jump Seat today. We appreciate your time.
Hey, I appreciate you guys asking us to come in.
Absolutely. And we'll definitely link to all the website. There it is right there. Thanks, Dave. And for anybody out on the computer, check it out. Get involved in your local level.
And you can actually look us up at on Facebook as Pink Heels Wichita.
Pink Heels Wichita. So for all you Kansas folks out there watching, go check it out. Give Richard a call and get yourself involved here today. And Richard, thank you again for joining us in the Jump Seat. And maybe we'll love to hear how things are going as an update in the future.
Okay, everybody stay safe.
So John, holy cow,
Yes.
man. Time flies when we're having fun. And, you know, there is one more episode in the books here today.
Yes, that's right. We've got some more good stuff coming too. As always, I know next week will be the 30th, just before Halloween, I guess, and we'll be on number 28. And we're actually going to be talking about something new that we haven't covered yet in the Jump Seat, and that is innovation of today's fire hose, trends in innovation, and that's with Jay Hillis, National Sales Manager with SnapTight Hose. So that's going to be a good topic for those that want to learn a few things affecting our department and our, you know, tomorrow's operations of how we do things and the options available within fire hose, right? It's often overlooked, but there is some science to it, especially with modern technology and how we're, you know, we're flowing water with lower pressures again. And the hoses have changed to enable that to be more successful. So we're going to learn all about that stuff, and can't wait for next Friday. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, hey, we always love to hear comments from all of you watching. We can take those comments live during the show. Just a reminder. So if you throw a comment up, you want to ask questions, we're always here to do it. We can actually see them pop up on our screen as that happens. So don't forget that we always want to hear from you out there, our viewers and our followers. We also love the fact if you click like and share. You can follow us on the Jump Seat. You can follow us on IDEX Fire and Safety's Facebook page, as well as the various brands of IDEX Fire and Safety, Akron Brass, Hale Products, Hearst Jaws of Life. And so thank you all for joining us here for another episode. We look forward to seeing you all again next week. And John, great seeing you. Till next week. We'll catch you later, right?
Yep. Everybody be safe out there. Have a good Friday.